We welcomed some new faces to Selhurst Park in the last episode of our realistic Crystal Palace career mode. Luca Koleosho and Joe Bellingham arrived from Championship clubs Burnley and Sunderland respectively, each for a fee of £12 million. And Koleosho in particular has already made an impact, putting in an influential performance on his debut as we managed to beat Chelsea 1-0 at Selhurst Park. Dominic Calvert-Lewin arrived too, initially on loan from Goodison Park, but we did negotiate the option to make the deal permanent in the summer if he impresses. And we certainly aren't the only Premier League team to be making moves here in January. As we hit the deadline here in January, there have already been a number of interesting deals that have taken place. We've already seen the likes of Paulo Dybala joining Arsenal, Gavi joining Manchester City, Tapsoba joining Chelsea. But one deal that has just gone through is Darwin Núñez from Liverpool to Bayern Munich, just short of 50 million for the striker. They have replaced him with Arsenal's Leandro Trossard. Ademola Lookman we saw play for West Ham in the previous episode. John McGinn has made his way from Aston Villa to Juventus. We saw also Matoma making his way to Goodison Park in the last episode. But by far, my favourite non-Crystal Palace transfer in this window has to be Assane Diao to Southampton. Diao was a star in our last season or two of the Everton takeover rebuild on FC24, and he was one of my favourite players to play with on FC24. He was so fun. And it's actually been an incredibly busy deadline day around the Premier League as we see Lucas Paquetá from West Ham to Monaco. We see Matty Cash making his way from Aston Villa to Liverpool. Alphonso Davies to Real Madrid is an interesting one as well. We see Harvey Elliott going from Liverpool to Aston Villa. Evan Ferguson to Borussia Dortmund. Marcus Edwards from Sporting Lisbon to Arsenal is an interesting one. Fabian Schär makes his way to, Lazio, I guess? Luton's Elijah Adebayo was a player I had my eye on. He's gone to FC20. Callum Wilson has joined Athletic Bilbao. We see also Jarell Quansah has joined Newcastle. He's going to be their Fabian Schär replacement. Another centre-back, Levi Colwill, making his way to Bayern Munich to, I guess, replace Alphonso Davies. But no more business for us, either incoming or outgoing. So that is our squad set for the second half of the season. And the second half of our season begins with a trip to Old Trafford to take on Manchester United. We'll make this our featured game in the episode. I was tempted to go with Chelsea in the FA Cup since it is such an important fixture and against another London side, but we did face Chelsea in the featured game in the last episode, so I'll just show you highlights of that fixture as well as our trip to Craven Cottage to take on Fulham, and we'll be quick simming games against Everton and Aston Villa. Manchester United themselves made good use of the January transfer window, bringing Memphis Depay back to Old Trafford for a second bite at the cherry, as well as, I believe, Joey Veerman from PSV. We do see Joey Veerman in the Manchester United midfield now as well. So it'll be interesting to see whether they feature today. As for Oli Glasner's 11, he's going with the full counter-attack approach. Koleosho and Ismail Assar flanking Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front. Adam Wharton and Daichi Kamada, the pair in midfield. It's a familiar back five, certainly within recent months. Roscoe Torres and Daniel Munoz on the flanks. Lacroix, Chalobah, Gahey make up the central three. And of course, Dean Henderson starts in goal against his former club. So without further ado, let's head over to Old Trafford, see if our new signings can continue to make an impact, see if we can put another 3 points on the board, see if we can continue our march to the top half of the Premier League table. So we are up in the commentary box at Old Trafford for an important Premier League fixture. I'm not quite so concerned as I was slightly earlier in the season that we might be dragged into a relegation battle this season. It looks as though, as we sit in 15th position, but relatively comfortable in terms of points, it looks as though we are certainly going to be safe this year, as Koleosho puts the ball straight out of play. However, we are, of course, not looking just to survive. We are still hoping for a top half finish, and at the very least a top 12 finish, because that's going to dictate our transfer policy to some extent as we head into next summer and season 2. We do, of course, have those custom objectives to try and fulfill, one of which was to finish in the top 12, which would allow us to keep both... That's an awful pass. It was top 10, actually, wasn't it? It was top 10. Or was it even top 8? I'm forgetting the objectives that I set myself now. Ismail Assar. Can he get a shot away? Just about. The shot was blocked. I think potentially we set a top 8 finish. We get to keep both Eze and Gehi. If we finish 8 to 12, we get to keep 1. If we finish 13 or below, we can't keep either. 99% sure those were the parameters. Kamada gets the shot away. Not blocked this time, but parried away instead by Andre Onana. Decently bright start to the game for us on the counter-attack. That is how we're going to be approaching the game. Daichi Kamada in centre midfield. The two wingers either side of Dominic Calvert-Lewin to get forward in support as well. But other than that, we're going to be keeping really 6 defenders back. The back 5 and Adam Wharton. Roscoe Torres will, of course, have license to roam forward from time to time, as he has been doing, and doing so well so far this season. Anthony cuts in off the right-hand side, finds Rasmus Højlund. We don't really want him to get a shot away. He does get the shot away. And as I saw Dean Henderson diving away to his right-hand side, but failing to get anything on it, I thought I was about to see the net ripple. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately for us, the shot was wide. We said in the last episode, we really don't mind the ball falling to the Chelsea striker, Nicholas Jackson, because as we saw in that game, he is known to squander chances. Rasmus Højlund, at least in FC, not so much. I am very concerned about Rasmus Højlund. Ismail Assar lofts it into the box where Dominic Calvert-Lewin brings it down on his chest and hits the ball on the turn. Very high level of difficulty on that particular opportunity, but he did well to hold off 2 Manchester United defenders. Hit the net, unfortunately the side of the net rather than the back. But a decently bright start to this game. We are using a new set of sliders, so version 2, as you see this, should be out on my channel already. So check out the update to my realistic slider set. We are utilizing version 2 in this particular game and going forward. Roscoe Torres can't win it off Anthony. The first time of asking anyway. He does on the second time of asking, and the referee blows the whistle for a free kick. One other change we have made is adjusting the referee strictness from strict to very strict. That's something I'm certainly going to keep an eye on, because very strict was a little too high on FC 24, but we've seen Anthony again causing issues, and a Manchester United player is down injured, and it is Rasmus Højlund. Don't really like to wish injuries on players, but I wouldn't be too disappointed if Rasmus Højlund did need to leave the field. Kamada finds Adam Wharton. Nice little break. And we will find Koleosho. I was looking for Roscoe Torres. Koleosho takes it on himself, though. Keen to get involved. But we have seen in recent weeks a couple of lunging 2-footed challenges. only result in a booking where they should clearly be red cards. So we've moved it up to very strict for the time being. And hopefully that's going to be a bit more balanced this year than it was last. Adam Wharton can't get the pass away. Rasmus Højlund, I don't believe, is nursing an injury. However, we will wait and see whether he does stay on the field or not. Chalobah wins the ball. Again, the referee blows for a free kick after what seemed to be a clean challenge. The referee's strictness, interestingly enough, doesn't affect when injuries are called, and Rasmus Højlund is injured. It only affects the issuing of cards, so you won't see more fouls on higher referee strictness necessarily, but you will see more yellow cards for fouls, more red cards when you might have seen yellows. Just to clarify. Anthony, very bright start to the game for him. He's been Manchester United's main threat down this right-hand side, and he continues to be again here. Garnacho cutting in off the left now, and Mark Gay gets across to make the block. And there is Rasmus Højlund, and again, fortunately, the shot goes wide. No Memphis Depay in the starting lineup for Manchester United. No Joey Veerman either. I did definitely see Joey Veerman on the bench. The bench flashed by so quickly that I only just got a glimpse of it. So Joey Veerman definitely on the bench. Memphis Depay, I can't be certain. Headed clear by Mazraoui. Out for a Crystal Palace throw deep in Manchester United territory, which Roscoe Torres will take. Finds Adam Wharton, who lofts it into the box where Ismaila Sarr is lying in wait at the back post. Calvert-Lewin nods it down to Daichi Kamada, who takes such a heavy touch off his chest. You could see what he was trying to do. Just knock it down into his path to get the shot away with the right foot. But the touch too heavy. Good challenge, Daniel Munoz. Maybe referee strictness does affect fouls this year and not just cards. That's not my understanding, but there's been some very soft ones in the game so far. At least in Manchester United's favour. Speaking moments ago of Roscoe Torres, Tyrick Mitchell is almost fit to return. He has returned to training. Not yet fit enough to return to the lineup though. Not even on the bench today. But I'm expecting at some point in today's episode he will feature. Ismaila Sarr in so much space on that right-hand side. He does take a nice touch on his chest and gets the shot away with his left foot. It's a poor one in the end though. And Harry Maguire just clears into the feet of Bruno Fernandes. We do have players back though, like we said, not committing too many players forward to the counter-attacks. We're looking to hit Manchester United with speed rather than with numbers. And it looks like there's a bit much on that from Adam Wharton. Nice idea dropping the ball into the channel for Ismaila Sarr to run onto, but execution not quite right. Garnacho. One-on-one with Daniel Munoz, who does well. Half an hour gone already in the game. It seems like the opening period has flown by. As Daichi Kamada dispossesses Manchester United in midfield. Since Lacroix. Kamada once more. Munoz wants it on the right-hand side, and he's in space. Threads the ball through to Ismaila Sarr. What a pass that was. Lofted into the path of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and it's just over his head. A little too much on the cross from Ismaila Sarr. And we've had a couple of chances in the last 5 or 10 minutes where the execution was just not quite right. A slightly sloppy touch from Daichi Kamada, a slightly misplaced cross from Ismaila Sarr. That's really poor Adam Wharton. Fortunately, we get the lucky bounce on this occasion. Lacroix, Chalobah, Ismaila Sarr in a lot of space on the right-hand side. I can see him on the little 2D map. Couldn't quite find an opportunity to play the pass to him though. And instead we go down the left-hand side through Koleosho. Harry Maguire stands off. Fortunately, it was a good covering challenge from his teammate. And it's a nice little block there from Dominic Calvert-Lewin, allowing Adam Wharton to stride forward. I could see the Manchester United defender trying to get in position to make a challenge, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin just held his ground, and he's entitled to that space as much as the Manchester United player. He doesn't have to move out of his way, and he certainly didn't. Kamada steals it away. Ismail Assar in down the right-hand side once more. Pace to beat the Manchester United defender initially, but what a challenge to get back in the race. I thought Ismail Assar had left the Manchester United left-back for dead. But fantastic pace to recover and dispossess our right winger. Bruno Fernandes finds Garnacho. Both Manchester United wingers cutting in off their respective flanks. Munoz just shows it to Garnacho and then takes it away. And then finds Adam Wharton with a beautifully weighted pass. Roscoe Torres. So no changes for either side as we come out for the second half. Just more of the same is what we're looking for. Looking to hit Manchester United on some quick counter-attacks, as we are doing here with Luca Koleosho. And Daichi Kamada is in a nice position on the edge of the box. Get the shot away and buries it off the post. What a finish, Daichi Kamada. That's why we need Eze back, because we do not want Kamada out on the left-hand side. We want Eze picking passes from there, cutting in on his right-hand side from there. We want Kamada picking up those kinds of positions on the edge of the box and curling them into the back of the net with his right foot. What a finish that is. Awful angle. We don't see the finish at all. We do get another replay, thankfully. One touch with his left, curls it with his right, in off the post. The condensation, the moisture, the rain goes flying. And 2 minutes into the second half, we have a lead at Old Trafford. Was not sure I would be anticipating saying that over the course of this game. Manchester United have been somewhat lacklustre, though, it has to be said. Not putting a particularly good performance at all. Having a fairly underwhelming season as well. Sitting in 7th position as we head into this game. So, continuing to struggle under Erik ten Hag. Bruno Fernandes almost saw Kamada's effort and said, I'll go one better. It would have been a more spectacular goal than Kamada's from a greater distance. But Dean Henderson equal to it. I mean, it's a comfortable height for any goalkeeper. And he had plenty of time to see it. Wasn't unsighted in any way. So, a relatively comfortable save. But would have been a spectacular goal if it found the back of the net. Adam Wharton, good defending. And Roscoe Torres can't quite prevent it from going out for a corner. Manchester United to make a change early. As Anthony comes off Rashford to come on and replace him. So a little more pace. Probably a little bit more direct as well in his approach, Rashford, than Anthony. So certainly going to have to be wary of that. Down the Manchester United right. Kamada. And we don't get a free kick for that. The number of free kicks that Man United have got in this game for challenges that are clearly not fouls. Kamada held back there on the edge of his own penalty area. And we get absolutely nothing. Sarr just went a little too early there. And Kamada does eventually find Ismail Assar. Headed clear by Manchester United. Sarr kept going there, to be fair to him. Kept trying to make the same run. And each time he made it, I didn't pass. And then, as he came back on side, I then decided, okay, the chance is gone. And then he would make the run again. But by that point, I'd committed to not playing the ball in behind. And that happened 3 or 4 times in quick succession. Munoz caught out by the run of, I think, Kobe Mainu behind him. Garnacho beats Munoz on this occasion. Munoz has done well down that Manchester United left, defending against Garnacho. But beaten on that occasion, Ismail Assar finds Adam Wharton really well. Roscoe Torres leaves it for Koleosho. The ball was intended for Torres. Koleosho already making the run down that left-hand side to provide an option to Torres. And Torres simply leaves it. Garnacho. Fernandez. Can he get another shot away from range? Munoz has been pulled out of position and it's blocked by Trevor Chalobah this time. And out for a Manchester United corner. Manchester United piling on the pressure now. So we will drop back into our counter tactics. Of course, we are set up to counter ordinarily. That's our kind of default game plan, is to counter-attack. But our 5-2-3 counter tactics are even more conservative for situations exactly like this, where we do want to defend a little more stringently than we do in our default tactics, but we could still use another goal. I don't really trust, especially with the pressure that Manchester United are starting to build, being able to win this game with just a single goal, and that could not be more clear that Daichi Kamada had used the hands there. Manchester United to make another change. Mainu off. Is this going to be Joey Veerman? I think it is. And I think Oli Glasner is going to make a change or two here as well. So 2 changes for Oli Glasner as Ismaila Sarr and Dominic Calvert-Lewin leave the pitch to be replaced by Cheick Doucouré and Eddie Nketiah. So a little bit more pace up front, a little less physicality. I thought that was looping in. Thought it was looping in, but thankfully over from Harry Maguire. Daichi Kamada has moved out to the left wing now. Koleosho moving over to the right, and it's going to be Doucouré and Adam Wharton, the pairing in midfield. So a little more robust, a little more defensively sound in the centre of midfield, and a little bit more pace up front. Well, I mean, I guess you could argue actually a little less pace up front, because we've gone from Sarr and Koleosho to Kamada and Koleosho. Calvert-Lewin and Nketiah is kind of a wash. Nketiah probably slightly quicker than Calvert-Lewin. Roscoe Torres beats his man into the box. Just about keeps it in play. It is going to be a Crystal Palace corner. Roscoe Torres not being able to make quite the impact that he ordinarily does here today at Old Trafford, as Manchester United's other new signing, Memphis Depay, makes his way onto the pitch. Can't, I imagine, have particularly pleasant memories of his first spell at Manchester United, but is back for another try. Højlund shows far too much of it to Mark Gay. He's been relatively quiet today, Højlund. We've done well to keep him under wraps. As Paul Koleosho. Munoz can't prevent Depay from breaking in behind. But again, Mark Gay, he comes over and wins the ball with a fair shoulder challenge. And again, the referee blows his whistle for a Manchester United free kick. I mean, I know we're at Old Trafford, but this is getting silly. Wasteful from Nketiah. And this time, the referee is silent. The home crowd certainly not. A Manchester United player, I'm not sure who, took a tumble in the box. And I'm not sure why, to be fair. No idea what caused the United player to go down. But thankfully, the referee was having none of it. Koleosho finds Munoz. Lofts it in towards Kamada, who nods it down to Roscoe Torres. Hits the post, the same post that Kamada hit. And Kamada on the rebound forces a good save from Onana. Just as we'd said that Torres hasn't made the impact that he usually makes, he goes and hits the post. And that really would have made things comfortable heading into the last, or far more comfortable at least, heading into the last 20 minutes or so. Can Lacroix do the same? Roscoe Torres recycles, obviously into Gay at the back post. Did really well to get such power on the header from that distance. Relatively comfortable save from Onana. And United continue to look for an equaliser. We've been so good defensively, though. Dean Henderson has done really very little today. He made that good save from Bruno Fernandes in the first half. But the defensive three, at the very least, in front of him, Chalobah, Gay, Lacroix, have all been excellent. And Manchester United have been somewhat wasteful as well. A number of their opportunities not even finding the target. And the one that did, that Bruno Fernandes effort, was excellently saved. What a header that is from Eddie Nketiah. Space on the left-hand side for Kamada. Koleosho hasn't quite got it right. It was an ambitious pass, but worth the risk, I think. Because although it has invited a Manchester United counter-attack, again, we do have numbers back. And if we could have got Kamada in behind there, that would have been danger for Manchester United. Adam Wharton. Check Doucouré. Maybe we can slow the game down a little now, as we approach the last 15 minutes or so of the game, stoppage time included. Probably make another change or two next time the ball goes out of play as well. I don't think we want to completely sit back for the final 15 minutes of the game, but we also certainly don't want to press too hard to grab a second goal and end up giving up an equaliser. Roscoe Torres again beats his man, is again into the Manchester United box, lays it off this time for Doucouré, who strikes straight at Onana. I kind of wish I did move Kamada out to the left-hand side now, because I think he would have buried that for his second of the game. I cannot wait until Eze is back. Oh, no, I've committed there with Roscoe Torres. Cannot wait until Eberechi Eze is back. I think with him on the left, Koleosho on the right, one of our strikers through the middle, Kamada and Wharton in midfield, Roscoe Torres, or even Tyrick Mitchell on the overlap. I think we're going to be really dangerous. And here is Koleosho. No support. Just cuts in onto his left-hand side. Gets his shot away from the edge of the box. I mean, there wasn't a lot else on, to be fair. Nketiah had found Luca Koleosho, but that meant he was slightly behind the play. Couldn't really expect Nketiah then to get into the box and win a header against a couple of good Manchester United centre-backs. Depay, Doucouré chasing the ball in midfield. Veerman finds Fernandes. Manchester United really going to have to get something going in the last 5 minutes, because we're going to make some changes. We're going to try and waste what little time is left on the clock and see out this 1-0 victory. That's a fantastic equaliser. Unbelievable from Marcus Rashford. Sent me one way, then the other. Buried it in the back of the net. Fair enough. Beat Lacroix. Step to the right, because that looked to be where Marcus Rashford was going with Trevor Chalobah, but he just cuts it back the other way. Really good goal from Marcus Rashford. And there's not really any complaints we can have about that. I mean, there's complaints we can have about that for sure. Really, really poor pass from, I think, Roscoe Torres again. Putting the ball directly out of play. And we do just need to hang on to this point now. Mark Gay's picked up a knock. I think he'll be leaving the field next time the ball goes out of play, which is right now. So it's going to be Mark Gay off to be replaced by Chris Richards. A little bit concerned about that knock. It's going to be Adam Wharton off for Jefferson Lerma as well. And let's just try and defend for these last... It can't be more than 5 minutes stoppage time included, surely. Loose pass from United. Check Doucouré collects. Maxence Lacroix. Roscoe Torres on the left-hand side. I think we just need to try and keep the ball for as long as possible in these last moments of the game. Munoz. How good would it be if we could nick a winner late on, though? Kamada. Roscoe Torres. Kamada once more. Doucouré in space. Oh, what a horrific touch. I'm done with Cheick Doucouré. I am done with Cheick Doucouré. He's one of the higher rated players on the team at an 80 overall. And he's so bad. He's not good at anything. Just a simple touch was all it took there. Awful control. And he's so slow that he couldn't make up the ground to recover. Got to be a win. Big win. Koichi Kamada. One final chance, possibly. 3 minutes of 5 of added time have elapsed. Eddie Nketiah beats Fernandez. Can he keep going? Yes, he can. Beats Mazraoui as well. Harry Maguire next to try and stop him. Doesn't manage to do that. Had to take a pot shot on, though. Wide of the target. I'm done with Czech Decore. And we don't need him either. We have so many options in midfield now. Joe Bellingham, of course, has arrived as the referee's final whistle goes. Adam Wharton, Daichi Kamada. Beyond that, Jefferson Lerma. Will Hughes signed a new contract earlier in the series. I think Czech Decore is on the chopping block in the summer. But we do manage to come away with a point from Old Trafford. Disappointing that it's only a point, since we did, of course, take the lead in the game and held the lead for a decent portion of time. But Old Trafford, of course, a difficult place to go and come away with a result. And I think most people probably would have had us losing this game. So the fact that it took an 86th minute equaliser from Marcus Rashford for Manchester United to avoid that happening, I think has to be very positive for us. The fans are keen to talk about Marc Guéhi's performance in the game. The media are keen to ask questions about him. I'm keen to find out what the medical staff have to say, because I'm a little bit anxious about the fact that he had to leave the field. We could afford to be without Marc Guéhi for a short period of time. We do have Chris Richards. We do, of course, have Riyad as well. However, Guéhi, of course, is the captain of the team, one of our best players, a really important player in that back three for us. Really, the only one of our centre-backs who's able to step forward into midfield and become part of the build-up as well. The bad news is that Marc Guéhi is injured. The good news is it's only a bruised shoulder, so he will only be out for 5 days, firstly, so he may not even miss a game, and secondly, it's not a broken toe. So Marc Guéhi is fit enough to lead the side as we travel to Stamford Bridge to take on Chelsea in the 4th round of the FA Cup. We will, of course, be without Trevor Chalobah, though, who cannot play against his parent club, so Chris Richards once more has come into the centre of the back five. Other than that, the starting 11 remains the same from that impressive performance against Manchester United. Chelsea were clearly determined to get revenge for their 1-0 defeat in the last episode. Jadon Sancho forcing a save from Dean Henderson early as Chelsea came flying out of the gates. And just moments later, it would be Christopher Nkunku who tested Dean Henderson from just outside the box. Once more, Henderson was equal to it. Then Nicholas Jackson, intent on his own personal revenge, perhaps got a shot away, but again, Dean Henderson managed to parry away. But after a dominant start to the game, Dean Henderson couldn't stop Chelsea from taking the lead. Jadon Sancho picking up the ball just outside the box, firing into the top corner. And it was a great finish to give Chelsea the lead, and we really struggled to get back into it. Dominic Calvert-Lewin flashing a shot wide after Ismaila Sarr found him down the right-hand side. And although that was pretty much our only chance of the first half, Chelsea had plenty. The ball falling to Nicholas Jackson, who turned on Adam Wharton and fired with his left foot past Dean Henderson to make it 2-0 about half an hour into the game. And things didn't get any easier after the break. Adam Wharton seeing red for a second yellow after this reckless challenge, which set the stage for Chelsea to see out the game and get a third goal deep into injury time. Jadon Sancho once more with the finish, which of course does put an end to our FA Cup run as well as our Carabao Cup run. So Steve Parish was ambitious at the beginning of the season, asking for a top 8 finish in each of the competitions. We didn't make it out of the 4th round in either. The silver lining, though, is that does leave us with just the Premier League to focus on, and our next match of the episode is against Everton, who are just 2 places and 3 points above us in 12th position. 12th place, of course, is the target for this year. It's that all-important position where we could keep hold of Eze, of Guéhi, so a win here would be really impactful on our season. We can't get the win. We do manage to come away with a draw, though. No Calvert-Lewin today, on loan from Everton, of course. But it's Daichi Kamada who opens the scoring 5 minutes into the game, so that's 2 on the episode for him. Beto, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's, I guess, replacement, equalised 10 minutes into the second half. Tyrick Mitchell, fit enough to start against Everton, starts again here for our 4th game of the episode as we take on Fulham at Craven Cottage. We were missing Adam Wharton in the last game, but he does return in a slightly reshuffled 11. Daichi Kamada on the left, Eddie Nketiah, Luca Koleosho round out the front 3, and Joe Bellingham comes in to make a rare start in midfield. Daichi Kamada was beyond influential in this one. He was pulling the strings from the start, picking up nice positions on the edge of the box. Unfortunately, his first shot went wide. But this was something I noticed playing against Fulham earlier in the season. They sit back very deep, give you lots of space on the edge of the penalty area. And Daichi Kamada found Adam Wharton this time, whose shot was not wide, but instead rocketed into the top corner. And it was Kamada yet again exploiting that space on the edge of the Fulham box. The roles were reversed this time. Adam Wharton found Daichi Kamada, who in turn found the top corner to make it 2-0. And if it wasn't for a late goal from Rodrigo Muniz, this would have been a perfect performance. Dean Henderson initially making the save. Roscoe Torres beaten at the back post. Muniz dispatched the rebound. Which does bring us to our 5th and final game of the episode against Aston Villa at Selhurst Park. It's been a good episode so far. Any kind of a result here would be fine. There was too much to ask for, though, to be fair. Aston Villa are a very good side. We do take the lead through Daichi Kamada. What an episode he's had. Jacob Ramsey levels for Villa. Just 4 minutes later, though, Bailey puts them ahead just before half-time. And then Duran scores a third late in the game. So disappointing to lose our final Premier League game of the episode. Not anywhere close as disappointing as that 3-0 loss against Chelsea earlier in the episode, but I don't think we can be too unhappy with the form that we're in at the moment. We did take 5 points from 4 Premier League games, which isn't a terrible return considering we played Aston Villa and Manchester United, and we are sitting very comfortably in 13th position now, 10 points above the relegation zone. So I think we are well clear of that relegation battle that we were getting dragged into early in the season. We are just a point away from Everton in 12th. We are 4 points away from Chelsea in 11th. We've just got Tyrick Mitchell back from injury. We are on the precipice of getting Eberechi Eze back in the first team as well. So I'm confident that we can kick on from here and really push to finish top half, or at least in the top 12. We will look to do that in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.